What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Lift Lab. We've got special guests today with us today. We've got Daniel here, Ben,
and Michael's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us today. It's good to have you on board. And let's just get stuck into it.
Yeah, man. So hey, Ben, my brother, we've been chopping it up and doing business and just in the influencer and social media space for years now.
Yeah.
But I know you just recently started working with Michael.
Yep.
And Michael, I'm like, I was looking up some of the stuff on TikTok, bro. Dude, is it 50?
52, 51, something around there.
Nah, I think it's higher, bro.
52
like
million.
51.5.
Yeah.
To be exact.
Just crushing.
And the M. There's an M there.
You're basically a small country right now. You are United States of Michael.
That's twice of Australia's population.
Is it really?
That's
Yeah,
double.
for
That's
real?
double Australia's population.
That's
They're like
wild.
20 something, 25 million.
Jeez.
So that's about as many kangaroos as there are in Australia.
Damn.
So
That's impressive.
Here's one of the coolest things. So we have probably one of the most influential fitness, bodybuilders, in my opinion, in the world, right? And we got two of the most influential dancers in the world, because obviously Ben, formerly of the Jabberwockies and the Kinjas, right? You got just Michael. Is it? Do you say just Michael or?
Yeah, just Michael. Michael doesn't really matter. That's kind of I had the username made because like I felt like my name was boring, so like Michael is like an Asian way of saying it, like Michael, just Michael, just Michael.
Yeah,
you know?
just-
Yeah.
I like that.
You're like, that's how my mom calls me. He's just Michael.
It's just Michael.
That's cool. So, dude, we were talking a little earlier, right?
Mhm.
And we're just like, yo, so you're
24.
24 years old. When did you get started? How did this whole thing? Because obviously, Calum's got like a pretty big fitness audience, and they might not know exactly who you are, but the whole point of the Lift Lab is like we want to collect people from different walks of life, different career paths and stuff, lift each other up through our stories and stuff. But I would love to dig into your story, man. So how this all have 51 million United States of Michael? How they get going?
I guess I mean the quick story of it is kind of just I started dancing in 2012. Into a studio, and then a couple years later, I stayed really consistent with it because like I was going throughout a couple different hobbies. My mom just wanted to put me in stuff because I was like, oh, stay out of trouble, you're gonna be in all this stuff. So I did like karate, soccer, all that stuff, and then by 2012 I joined the dance studio, and I fell in love with it like immediately. I think it really kind of opened up who I was. It kind of like gave me a lot of confidence because I saw progression pretty fast, at least for me at the time.
You would have been about 12 years old.
Yeah.
At the time?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I did dancing before that, around like 6 or 7, but I was just like for a year or so. But consistently since 2012, I went to a dance studio, and then a couple years after that, I went quote unquote professional, where I started doing like music videos and stuff like that. And then the whole social media started because I was watching. I loved YouTube. I was watching Ryan Higa, Kev Jumba, all like the OG, people, and that inspired me because I was like, they're having so much fun doing like what they love, and it's like I feel like they're making money from it. Why can't I do the same?
What was the breakthrough moment for you? So what was like the moment where you went from like, Marco to just Marco?
Yeah. I mean,
what was it? Was there like a particular video or something that went you viral, or was it like a gradual thing, or was it very quick?
The bulk of it was an all at once thing, because 2015, like from 2015 to 2019, I like had a couple viral moments here and there, a couple challenges, like gained a couple 100,000. But I stayed around like the 200,000 range on like all platforms. And then once TikTok kind of like rebranded itself, because it used to be Musical.ly, and it kind of did like a crap ton of like marketing, all that stuff. One of my friends had kind of like hopped back on it, and I was just using it as like a repurposing, like reposting my stuff. And they were like, yeah, like it's kind of like it's kind of getting better now. And I'm like, oh, let me try it out. So the first week I hopped back on, I gained 1 million followers in 1 week. And at that point, I was like, obviously, I was like, this is my first.
Can we just pause for a
anywhere.
sec? 1 million followers?
Yeah, I think I had like 500,000, and then I got to my first million in 1 week. So technically 500,000 in that first week, but then after that, every week onward, I dedicated all of my time onto TikTok, and I gained 1 million followers every week after that. So like by the time I was like month 3, month 4, I had like
Wait,
10
hold
or
on.
15.
You gained
now.
1 million followers every week?
Yeah, I was going hard. I used to post like 4 to 8 times a day though, and these were like
Wait, 4 to 8 times a day?
yeah, and this was like I was trying to do like viral
Is,
stuff.
is
So
there that many music like songs
I
for
mean,
that? You're like,
Of course, bro.
I used to
like baby shark.
yeah, it was
Wait, no, seriously. So it was no, like really. So you were at 500,000. Then you gained 1 million in a week,
yeah.
and then every week following that was 1 million.
Yeah, pretty much. It was wild. Like it got to the point where cause I was getting better at being a content creator throughout those 4 years. I wasn't really blowing up. I like consistently learned and gotten, just better. So when TikTok happened, all the other creators, they weren't really like, I knew I could make better content. So when I went into it, I was doing stuff that people hadn't seen before. So I was combining skit, family, and comedy and dancing all in one. So I was like the one that started like escalator video dancing or dancing on cars or in elevator, like random stuff in public. And I knew that I was doing really well. So that really launched me up. And then once COVID hit, that was like my make it or break it moment where I was like, okay, if I stay in Florida, I feel like I'm gonna lose this opportunity. So I got a house, rented it out, didn't even get to look at it. I just like saw it on Zillow, and it was like a mansion. It was a crazy one, but that's when things really started to happen. And yeah, from there,
Like you got a house in LA.
yeah. Then I just moved to.
Would you say that you achieved most of all of this on your own, or were there certain individuals on the way that kind of helped you get to that point? Or because there's usually a few. There's like, I mean, I look back in my past, and there's definitely a few people that like there'll be some defining moments where these people come into your life and they can just like give you the right push in the right direction. It really helps you. Or is this something that you just were able to just fulfill yourself?
I would say that I was able to collaborate with a good amount of people, but I would for sure say that my core friend group, specifically Meet the Rods. So it was my really close friends that I grew up with since dancing. So they were like my first ever dance like group. We had like a whole crew and everything. And they definitely held me down a lot of the time, and we made a content all together kind of thing. And from there, me doing collaborations with other people, kind of like I was very outgoing in that sense, working with like other creatives and stuff like that. And then yeah, I just kind of knew how to take advantage of a lot of like different opportunities that came my way. I was very opportunistic. So yeah.
And then when did you guys link up? How did you guys meet?
Well, Michael was on the Kinja's podcast a couple years ago, and that was the first time we met. And then we recently reconnected. We were just at a friend's event. They released a film project that we were both at the premiere for. And then
it's crazy too because this is the only dance event I've ever gone to.
Oh really?
Yeah, ever.
Wow.
It was mainly because Calum was like my number one. Yeah.
And then we just catching up. I mean, speaking of like being opportunistic, I think that's a big thing. Like, I mean, I when I think the word opportunistic, I think it kind of comes with a negative undertone that like you're like trying to get something from somebody all the time. But I think that like the right opportunity at the wrong time is the wrong thing. Like the opportunity has to meet the right time. So even when we met the first time, I was like doing Kinja stuff and we were focusing on the podcast, and he was kind of in his own lane doing his own thing, and then it just so happened that for us to reconvene at the time where like I'm working on certain projects that coincide with things that he's working on. And it's like, hey, we should probably like link and see what's going on, And then
collaborate on something.
Exactly.
Both benefit. Both win
So
from,
so that's why I don't like the word just like opportunistic, meaning like I'm trying to get something from you at all times.
Both collaborate and both win. Then
Yeah,
both
I
winning.
think,
Absolutely.
I guess for me, because I've always felt like social media was a chance to make your own opportunities for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So I've always kind of been like, I'm always gonna try to, You'll never know unless you ask, and you'll never know unless you try.
Right.
And that was always kind of like my mindset with everything. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, even if things didn't work or just meeting people, I was always very open of like, you never know what's gonna happen.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, us connecting like years after, and all of a sudden things completely aligning is now we're kind of working on everything together. So it's really really cool.
Yeah, I saw you got a tattoo on your side that says faith.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I know you said opportunity, but like, or opportunistic, but if you really think about it, right? Like, well, there's a saying, you can't spell faith, or you spell faith R-I-S-K. Like, you got to risk. You can't just, and you know, those that they might, oh, you were no, like maybe you just saw the opportunity and you decided to go and risk it a little bit. And that's why you got it. You know what I'm saying? Because other people, they don't want to risk. They're too safe.
No risk,
too careful.
no reward.
Or they're too fearful. You know, they're too afraid of what the risks might be. Or they might, you know, too much, you know, fears holding them back from kind of taking that step. You know.
Well, that's kind of what happened to you too. He had a similar thing where you did Mad Desire.
Yeah.
He was just he was just lifting. I mean, Cal, can you share that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Well, I started out. It was just it was, you know, I'm passionate about fitness, bodybuilding, and training and things like that. So I wasn't really trying to get into the social media wasn't my goal. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to be famous or anything. I just want to be a champion bodybuilder. That was my goal. I wanted to, you know, grow and develop and, you know, win this universe. So right around that time that I was kind of getting up into the, you know, into my competitions, social media was just coming into the scene. I think around Facebook was like 2008, 2009, and then I didn't get social media till about 2013 or whatever. So it was just like I was kind of coming into, that was when all of it, like fitness was becoming more popular on social media. You know, it wasn't just food and dog photos or whatever. It was like, you know, you're posting a lot of other things. And then so I got this opportunity where it was, I had a friend made a YouTube video, and it went viral. It was just like a motivational video. You know, it was just, and it wasn't planned or anything. It was just like, hey, I like your look. Can I make a video of you just working out in the gym, like a motivational thing? Put it online, went viral, and got picked up by, you know, brands and companies in the States, and it just kind of opened up.
That's dope.
And it's like, okay, my old man said, you know, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like, you got to make the most of it while you can. Have a shot. You know, I was like, you know, should I do this? I was in a relationship at the time in Australia. I had a girlfriend, and you know, I was like, she's like, well, you know, what are you going to do? I was like, I want to go over to America and see what happens. So, you know, you had to make certain sacrifices to get to different areas. So
Yeah.
But I knew it was just.
Thanks. You guys broke up?
Yeah, well, we tried it first. We tried long
Okay,
distance, and it was just too hard. It was too much.
Yeah,
you know? It was tough, and so that was that. You know, it was. I think it was just that wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it was. Yeah, I felt like I had a different star to chase after, and I had a different calling, and just kind of went with my guts.
That's good.
You know?
That kind of just, you know, even talking about the relationship, like the right things will always stick around, right? The right thing will stay with you, and if it's not the right thing, it'll just be, well, I guess that was the season that it was for.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's a lesson. You look at it, everything is a lesson, right? You learn from it, whether it be good or bad, but you still learn from it. Right. It just helps to get you to the next stage of life where you're, you know, so you got to overcome that. You know?
Yeah. So in the lift, I mean, I like saying in the lift lab or the lab, we're always like, you know, it's like a science laboratory where we're trying to dissect like these formulas that work. And it almost seems like for both you guys, it was like, and as you said, like the word opportunistic but you know what? There's another word for it, right? It's like, hey, the situation to capitalize on this particular time in history, right? Like yours being musically, right? Was that
started off musically, YouTube,
right?
Instagram, all of that,
And you were kind of ready already because you were like prepping for it, and then you had 500,000, and then something happened, and then boom, you just like
I felt like I always like I took one of the quotes I always felt like was really important that I stuck with was like, I'd rather be ready and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be ready. You know, so I always kind of stuck with that, and I was like, all right, like, you know, listening to all these podcasts and all these books of these like famous people and successful people, I'm like, damn, like the only difference is that they just kind of stuck with it and didn't listen to people and didn't take no for an answer. You know, things happened, but like it ended up working out, and I was like, no matter how long it takes, like I'll figure it out. And you know.
What do you think your biggest? I'll ask both of you. What's the biggest achievement to date? Like, what's something that you're very proud of that you've achieved so far?
I think just being able to
probably connect with 50 a million. That's a
mean-
big thing. That's
I mean,
one
no,
big one. But is there something else that you've like?
Yeah.
You know what, I've won. Like anything like competitions or something you've won or travel or whatever it is. You know.
Okay,
or even if it's a deal or
yeah.
you know.
There's a
project.
couple. There's a couple. So
Yeah.
I'd say like the deep felt answer would be like, I'm glad I'm able to do what I want, do what I love as a job. You know, I think being able to like
Living your dream.
make my own opportunities for myself, make my own business, and be like, if I want to go into this, I'm gonna go into this. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me. Being able to do that, even though it's still like hard work, I enjoy it, and I'd rather do that than struggle or like not enjoy a 9 to 5. You know,
Right,
I've always
right.
kind of been like that, but social media really allows you to do that. You know, so I always felt really happy about that accomplishment. The second one I'd probably say, aside from like the money or like being able to the followers and stuff, I would say being in the Spider-Man film. I was able
Really?
to
You were in Spider-Man?
Spider-Man No Way Home. So
You were?
Which
yeah,
one?
the one with all three of them together.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Which
I-
one was that?
so-
One of the
That's
No,
like a
it's-
meme.
that came
Yeah,
out
yeah.
last
Yeah. So
What?
that was I was
Spideyverse? We get stuck in the Spideyverse?
yeah, pretty much.
The animation type
No,
one?
not the animation one, the actual one.
Yeah, the actual one?
With Tom Holland,
With
Andrew
oh,
Garfield, Tobey Maguire.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
the reason why was
That's
because
cool.
TikTok partnered with them, the movie.
Yeah, right.
So the way that they did the activation was that they wanted a featured TikTok person on it to represent them. So during the scene where in the beginning, it's like the first 15 minutes, Peter, like everyone finds out that he's Spider-Man. So he walks into high school and there's that whole crowd of people like, oh, talking about Spider-Man or whatever. I'm in the crowd in the front. And I have a little part. I'm like, yo, Spidey, hit a TikTok with me. So, and I had clear glasses, beanie. Like my whole look has changed completely since 4 years ago. But that was like a really
That's
cool
cool.
moment, you know.
Dude, we gotta who's the actor in that?
Tobey Maguire.
Is it Toby?
And
No.
I mean, it was all three of them.
Tom Holland.
Tom
No, on
Holland.
that scene though.
Tom Holland. Oh well, it was his friends that I actually directly talked to.
Yeah,
He was
no.
like, who is it? It was his like best friend, but it wasn't
Yeah.
his best friend. I forgot his name. I'm blanking right now.
The Filipino guy? It's kind of thicker.
No. Oh wait, no. It was both of them.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm Ned.
Yeah.
I'm his best friend.
Yeah.
And he's talking about a book. Is that scene pretty much? So
I was gonna say, you know, be dope is if you actually did a TikTok with him. Like,
yo,
now-
bro, I tried. I was definitely trying, but yeah, it didn't work out because it was during COVID too. So like the way that we shot everything was like that one scene took like 8 hours, and every shot they would like take off the mask, all right, action, whatever, immediately put it back on.
Oh,
And we just had
dang.
to like kind of redo different angles, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was very strict, super strict.
Yeah, your parents must have been proud though.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like, I'm dancing and now I'm in a feature film. Spider-Man.
Yeah. It was very surreal though, cause I mean, Spider-Man was like the game I grew up on, like the comics, all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool little full circle moment.
So, I wanted to tap into the other part, right, of your success, right? So, I don't know if you're open to talk, but like, what kind of money, like for the younger listeners out there, because I think you might be inspiring like some of these younger listeners about like, man, you could have a career on TikTok, you can have a career on social media. Like, what does that even look
Is he
like?
the youngest guest that's been on the pod?
I think,
Surely, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. 24, yeah.
the youngest.
Tight.
Yeah, Calum was gonna ask a question. Hey, what would you tell yourself? What was it?
Oh, I had a question. Yeah, I mean, what would you tell yourself, your 10 years younger self? But it's like probably high school.
Man, I mean, I would just be like, you're doing everything right, but probably like I'd probably give advice of like listen to certain people more.
Right.
That's wisdom
Just
right
because,
there.
I definitely, I was young, so I definitely did decisions I regret.
Did you
sometimes,
have
or,
like any like key mentors like when you were like say from your like teenage years? Because I feel like adolescence, so high school and stuff, I think it's a very crucial age for like especially young males, for development, learning and stuff. I think it's so important to have good father figures or role models or mentors in your life to keep you kind of on that good path, that straight and narrow. Did you have any mentors that really stuck out for you that that you could say that you could acknowledge that have helped you with your mindset or with your habits or with your your skills or your training or your
I would say specifically when it came to business, so there's different avenues of like,
different
or like,
mentors,
different mentors for different, parts of things.
Teachers and
So I would say like when it came to business, I felt like I always looked up to my mom and dad because they were both like business owners. They, I was first generation here, so like they came here, they had like their own businesses going on.
Yep.
But that was like my first thing of like, like being inspired by. But I would definitely say like growing up, like I would listen to a lot of podcasts. So like Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory, Gary Vee, Jay Shetty. Like those were like kind of like the main key ones I really listened to. And then a couple of books like, so even though I didn't have people around me that were like...
So yours were more online, like
you'd
absolutely. Seek that kind of guidance from online.
Yeah, because I just felt like, I mean, I was very isolated and I just knew I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing. I had a vision for what I wanted and I was like, I have to get there.
Divine dissatisfaction. So you knew like your inside was just telling you got a lot more to achieve and conquer.
And I was just...
And what was around you, your external stimuli. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just feel like, okay, you're one of like the 7 or 8 people that you're around. So I was like, okay, if I can't be around successful people, what can I do? I had social media, so like I took advantage of that, and yeah, I just feel like a lot of people didn't take advantage of a lot. Even today, like a lot of people don't take advantage of the things that we have because it's like, we just kind of take it for granted. But yeah, I always kind of knew like I wanted to make sure I had more for myself going. So in the business world, that's kind of how I took that. Yeah. In the family side of things, I would definitely say my girl and her mom, which kind of like it was my mom basically. My second mom, yeah, I knew them since 2012, and I still know them to this day.
Your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So super close, her and her siblings, her mom and everything, and they kind of grounded me.
So they've been with you as you've grown up,
like literally over a decade. So it's crazy.
So 2012, so you were 14.
I was 12.
12.
Yeah. Now I'm 24, so 12 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's crazy. Because I felt like throughout me growing up and all that stuff, I felt like I always learned the most.
Because that would be so hard. I mean, honestly, if you're you're on that scale of fame and popularity as a successful TikToker, and then just imagine, like, I couldn't imagine like the attention that you'd get online from like girls, guys, whatever it is, and there's women. And
it was just a wild journey.
Oh
but
my gosh, like just trying to battle them all up, just keeping them away from
it was
trying to protect.
You got a good head on his shoulder, man.
I went through a little bit of it, and I know what it can be like, and if you haven't got like a good solid rock behind you, it gets shaky.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So I felt like I learned a lot of my values and morals from them because, like, in the Asian culture, I mean, we kind of know like how it is on that backside, so it's a little different. And they're Latina, so like they kind of the morals are everything is very different. So I was able to kind of blend the best of both
Asians,
worlds.
We're very similar. In that yeah. You know what's dope though? I realized that like mentors and teachers back pre-social media, unless you had a direct relationship with them, you're not going to get mentorship. The best you can get is like a book, right? Reading it from a book. Yeah. But now that social media podcasts, like we can be mentored by people who just put out the content. Right. So like Gary Vee, Tom Bilyeu, Jay Shetty, these guys are they're my mentors too. I listen to their podcast. So like I get a lot of my mindset from these guys who are putting out content. So like essentially what's coming out of even here, like you're mentoring people that you don't even know now, you know what I mean? You're mentoring people you don't even know, and I think and Michael is going to be mentoring like that next generation, right? Like because he's got the roadmap, like the roadmap that all these other kids want. They're like, yo man, how did you do it? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, come and follow my stuff. You know what I mean? Like you'll get some of the nuggets. So like I think it's so cool that technology, man, it really is a tool. I mean, social media, we talk about the negative side to social media and how it could be toxic and all these other things. Yeah, anything that you overindulge in can be toxic, but then the things that you use in the right dosages for the right things, like can actually be something that amplifies, the goals that you have and
it takes a few good key plays to pave the way for goodness, and then you can create waves of positive impact in the following youth. So it's beautiful.
It's like we're living in times never before. Like there's no excuses anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like back in it, growing up though, they'd be like, "Oh, my network isn't that big, right? Oh, I don't have access to this information, right?" But like with Calum, Michael, you, right? Like even for me, like all the there's a ton of information out there.
Even AI. I use AI every day for stuff I don't know of. Like I just got into like the whole investing, becoming like, you know, learning how to learn about equity and starting my own company. I use AI for a lot of it too. Aside from like my new mentors and the people that I'm close to that teach me that stuff. But like, I mean, yeah, information is endless now. It's like kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I think
it's at your fingertips always.
Yeah,
No
it's
excuse.
wild.
that's one of the things I've been thinking a lot lately, though, too. Is like we're gone through this like explosiveness with the amount of information that's out there, and the next generation of entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that understand how to filter it all, and they're going to be able to, you know, synthesize what works for them, because there's not a one size fits all for everything. And one thing that I you know, I'm hearing from you, Michael, is like, so I always say, you know, Merch Labs is the company I founded, right? It's like we sit at the cusp of, you know, technology and culture. And I'm trying to like see what's next. I'm always pushing that envelope. And it could be because my parents were immigrants, you know what I mean? My parents from Korea. They had to come out and work their butts off and provide for us. And I see all this. So they always had to keep looking for that next thing to survive. It wasn't like they were comfortable. They put themselves in this like almost a survival state. And I think us as children, we receive that, right? But I think, you know, you looking into, like, I've been talking about AI a lot. It's like, hey, as much as you might think it's scary, or hey, it's Skynet, oh, it's gonna take over the world, and, you know, the Matrix or whatever. But hey, we gotta, instead of rejecting it, we should be embracing it and learning it a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, you know, creators like yourself, or, you know, people that are out there, it's like, look, because that one thing, you might not be able to apply everything ChatGPT does or everything Midjourney does, but you could take that one sliver and apply it to your career, and all of a sudden this next thing, like, one thing I caught from you was that you said I was making these dance videos, but then I did these things on the escalator. I did these things on the car. You did things with family fun, and you kind of tweaked it, and you kind of created your own lane with it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite terms that I've heard a lot is, have you heard of this thing called the Medici effect? It's like when two cultures collide, or they come together to create a new culture.
Got it. Okay.
And I feel like that's basically America. Like, we have so many different cultures, but especially online, there's so many things happening that if you can extract a little from here, and you create your new thing, not copy, right? You're creating something new.
Yeah.
I think that's where like a freshness
that's
comes.
like the concept I've been like getting into, of like, I mean, I've been applying it, but it's like the concept is now clearer to me. It's like steal like an artist, where it's like everything is always inspired or derived by something, you know, like, so like all of my work has always been like taking the best parts of things that I've connected with, of all of these different types of pieces of, you know, content or pieces of art that I then made my own, you know. But it was never like, nothing is technically original, you know.
Right.
Originality is like a weird concept, because we all are always constantly inspired by each other. So that's definitely how I kind of grew too, because like a lot of it was like, what's working, what can I add that I like to it that would make it better in my opinion, and then put it out there. And that's kind of how I've always done it with any direction in life.
It's like a recipe. You just keep adding ingredients, and you add a bit of salt on it, and then you end up having a beautiful dish, you know. If you're just having like chicken and rice, it's pretty boring.
I mean, like, you
start
talk
flavoring
about
it. It's beautiful.
the Medici effect, where you're talking about one culture, another culture creates this third culture. Like, I'm a big fan of, I know I'm not a chef here, so you could, hey, I like what I like, so feel free to hate me. I love fusion food. Like, fusion is like my favorite. Like, I love when like Asian flavors get paired with like Latin flavors, or even like, you know, like Thai Vietnamese, or like, you know, like people that will bring in different flavors, and it now creates like a whole other flavor palette and offering. And it's like, because it's like familiarity is, people love nostalgia, right? People love familiarity. Like, ooh, this kind of reminds me of what I grew up on, but it's slightly different, you know, slightly new. And then now you just created this whole other category. And I think, like, when I think about fusion, like, that is the stuff that, I mean, when you talk about like taking something that already exists and then tweaking it, that one thing and that tweak is what makes the third thing, right? And so, like, I love that idea of like not reinventing the wheel, but adding new element to it. Now it becomes its own thing. And streetwear, like, I mean, bro, there's like, why is golf cool now?
Yeah.
Because like
Shout out
you throw it on a duck camo hat, you know, and it's like, I mean, dude, I believe that like skate culture has done that since like the 80s and 90s. Like they just fuse like skateboarding with a little bit of hip hop, with a little bit of alternative music, and like it creates its own fashion. You know, like it creates its own culture.
You think about so the fundamental basis, or like the premise of even, like us being human beings, like is people would say is to evolve. Mm-hmm. That is literally like what creates a human being, is like we evolve. We're constantly but that's physically, right, for survival, right? There's Maslow's hierarchy, right, where there's like survival, and then there's safety, and then there's community, respect, and then there's self-actualization. But it's like we're constantly evolving, and it almost feels like what you're saying is like, well, we're at this point where we've evolved physically, I think, as human beings, right? We've evolved culturally, but maybe now we're evolving creatively.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're right, like the artists today. Think about this: the artists in the past, they had a paintbrush and like their limited understanding of their talent, right? The artists today, like you, Michael, you're probably like, you're looking at different things online. You're seeing things from different countries. You're tasting different foods, so your palette is like so much more vast. So the modern artist, almost, I would dare to say, is the most evolved artist ever.
Have you done much? Have you done much like travel, like internationally? Like
this year, actually, I have.
How many countries? Do you know how many countries?
I've been to Qatar. I've been to Poland. I've been to Korea. I'm going to Beijing and then Korea again next month, and hopefully Japan this year. But
what's next? So have you got any immediate goals?
Oh yeah.
At the moment,
or man, I feel like I went back in like a cocoon to like rebuild what I'm doing. So there's a lot of stuff I'm building. So like the first thing that's like my most important is I'm starting a dance academy. Well, I started it, but I'm revamping and just making it a more serious business venture thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the name?
What does that involve?
So it's a Shalove Dance Academy, and essentially it's my version and take on what an online academy is for not just anyone that wants to learn how to dance, but also an opportunity that I can give to both dancers and people aspiring to be a dancer to take it bigger with social media. So I'm going to teach them brand building, what I know already. Yeah, and then I kind of want to be like the Mr. Beast of dance. So like I'm taking content and the dance world and combining it, because I feel like the dance world is still one of the least respected art forms in the world, in the sense of like the pay is very low, just the overall respect in even like the music culture it's like it's being used a lot, but it's not being respected enough. And I feel like in the exactly, so in the social media realm, like, because like, you know, social media, like the engagement, the numbers, all of that stuff,
it's trying to change the game.
Exactly. So I'm starting something new. I'm partnering with a couple different companies. Red Bull is helping me out with a couple different events we're planning up, and like cool content. And the goal is to just kind of be like, there's no one there at the top right now in my eyes, and I want to kind of be that person to take it up there.
For you to take.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, good start with a whole country behind you, 51 million.
Yeah, so that's the first one. I'm starting a couple product companies right now. Getting into TikTok Shop, that's a major one. I feel like a big thing that I've been able to do this.
TikTok Shop, is that like where you just sell like products?
It's like they're
market?
competing with Amazon essentially.
Yeah.
They're becoming like the new thing for that, but instead of just shops selling
you can just do
their
it
stuff
throughout the TikTok platform.
You can do it directly on TikTok, and the crazier thing is like the marketing is there. You know, Amazon is backwards where they're trying to do the live stream and stuff,
right?
But there's no traffic area.
You've got all the traffic, you've got all the market.
Exactly. TikTok, you have people marketing.
Like in China, it's crazy, right?
Oh, it's insane. Douyin is like that's where all of their, because I connected with like a TikTok team, the people that set it up there in China and stuff, and dude, like their whole economy, like commerce economy, is through TikTok or Douyin there. They're basically bringing it here, and I just know that that's the next big thing. So I'm setting it up. So I got a warehouse like literally last month.
What products do you have on the shop that you?
It's gonna be no, it's not even my own stuff. It's like promoting other brands.
Whatever brands.
Yeah, and you're just getting commission off of it.
Yeah.
Wow. So any person can do it. It's just like if you have a good. Not even that. Like there's people like with 100,000 subscribers. I just got this like analytics app that shows the back end of stuff. And there's like people with like 100,000 followers or less, moms, simple videos, not even like content, just like straight up like testimonials, and they're making like $50,000-$100,000 a video. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Dang, for real?
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't really on it.
Yeah,
no, dude. There was this mom. There was this. I'm gonna give you the one video I just saw. Number one video for this thing. It's like a moo milk. I don't know what it is. It's like a supplement drink.
Yeah, moo milk.
Yeah. So this mom, she was pregnant. She was like, she was speaking in Spanish, so I don't, or another language, but she was just talking, showing the baby, and then she's her making it and just drinking it and saying like it's pretty good and all that stuff, like it's good for you, all this stuff. She made like $100,000-$200,000 off of it.
Bro.
I'm like, bro, what? So for me, I'm like,
it's pretty good.
I think it's cool though, because like everyone is essentially becoming a quote unquote drop shipper. Like TikTok just made it super easy for anyone to drop ship, but it's also very cool because like you're giving other people an opportunity because they're promoting your brand. It's like the way that brands are making their marketing spend is very different compared to like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, I think you just dropped like a major clue on anyone.
Yeah. No, I mean it's big, dude.
Right there.
Like not a lot of people are TikTok shop. I'm going all in on it. Like again, like I said it before we started recording, but Douyin, they're like 5 years ahead of the game. Like they've been doing it. Douyin is TikTok China. Yeah. So it's a separate app, same thing basically, but more evolved because it started there. They have like these shows there. Like think of like what's it called?
Like home shopping.
Yeah, like, when you're on TV you see the people standing. They do that for TikTok Shop, and they make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a live.
Dude, is that what I saw in Korea? Dude, I saw when I would go to the mall, there was like, and they weren't in Korean. There were like 8 or 9 Chinese people with like, like the ring, the ring light, and they were just like, and I was like, what's going on?
It's like straight up factories. That's why the commerce is so high there, because like this literally shows. So they're trying to bring it to the U.S. and I'm on the program, so I'm gonna start my own show and everything too. But it's the new wave, and just like how TikTok started, like the reason why I was able to gain so many followers was because like I was there at the right time. It's always like the right opportunity, the right time, and being ready for that. Yeah. This is that prime moment where there's not a lot of people, competing on it. People are like, oh, what is it? A lot of people are doing live streaming, just like they're doing battles, like, oh, gift me, make money,
Right.
But the actual shop feature and that stuff, like people are slowly getting on it, and there's not a lot of competition. Like all of the videos right now, like I can make content 10 times, 100 times better than that. Yeah.
Calum? You said one thing. I love what you said. The right opportunity, the right time, and being prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's luck. That's
what luck is.
It's preparation meets opportunity. That's luck. And that's how. But see, you could win the lottery. That's like dumb luck. That's like lightning in a bottle, right? But then how you stay lucky, is preparation meets opportunity. Then you continue to create luck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of my mentors said, "Hey, do you think getting a hole-in-one is lucky?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "But do pros get more hole-in-ones than amateurs?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to catch more luck? Hit around the hole." And I was like, "Oh, because you got to take your reps and you got to hit around the hole, and then eventually, the closer you get to these holes, right, the more luck you're gonna catch." That's just work with my career. Like, and you notice these things too, right? People in the industries, right, at the record labels, at the music studios, in the fitness spot, like. I always say that there's a fire. As long as you're kind of close to the fire, you can catch.
That's right.
But if you, this is one thing I'll say. If you're too arrogant, you're too cocky, and you don't want to risk, you're too cool for school, you ain't catching nothing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that you probably see, they're like, nah, I'm too cool for that. Like, nah, I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But
they always do that, and then once it's like the trend, they're like, Yo,
Yeah,
what's what is that again? TikTok? Yeah. In 2024? It's like, damn, dude, you're kind of late. My bad.
And this is like definitely not the time to be too cool anymore. Right now, it's like,
I mean, I don't think it's ever. Like, there's always going to be new things. And I think that the biggest thing that is a lot of people's downfall, especially people that started these in the last few years, because they're like new to being a content creator, I would say like people that get too comfortable thinking that one thing works. You know, like everything always changes. So you just rely on like, oh, this has been working for me. You know, we've seen it with like brick and mortar stores. We've seen it with like any companies, you know, that the companies that like, oh, this is working for us, we're only going to do this, versus the companies that always like, oh, what's next?
right.
And they evolve and, you know, they kind of
Constantly
adapt.
changing.
Yeah, like
constantly
I think that's
changing.
really
Yeah.
important. And like for me, like I was like,
Anyone who can adapt is going to survive the
Absolutely.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally that. I
absolutely.
think there's something to be said though. Yeah, like if you're too cool for school, you're gonna lose for sure. But I also think there's a nuance to it that not every trend is for everyone.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if it's not authentic to you, if you don't really
Yeah,
vibe
yeah.
with it, don't do it.
They'll stick through that.
Or
Just-
figure out a way for it to vibe with you, then do it. Like,
Yeah.
don't just do it because, oh, yo, everyone's doing this, so I guess I gotta go do that,
Yeah.
right? Because then people could sniff out like inauthenticity from a mile away. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't even believe in
Yeah.
that. Why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
You don't dress like that. You know what I mean? But like, if it's authentic to you, or if you figure out a way, okay, now this is my cup of tea. I can drink out of this. That's when you should shift into
And that's kind
Yeah.
of like what you did with podcasting too.
Right. Yeah.
Because you were dancing.
Yeah.
And you did, and it's wild, right? Because it's like to your point, Michael, is like, hey man, like this dancing thing, how are you gonna make money doing this, right? Like there's a certain like, and when you were doing, you're like the OG. That was like when people were right. There wasn't really like Jabberwockies was probably one of the first dance crews that actually carved out a legitimate show.
Yeah.
That was turned into like, hey, we could really make money
Right.
with
Yeah.
this and merchandise and all these things. So you were like at the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that's a big point.
So even with that, bro. So when Jabberwockies popped off, you know, we're hip hop heads, right? And so like, you know, hip hop community's cutthroat, man. They'll be the first to be like, oh, sellouts and da da da. Oh, now you're trying to be all pop and mainstream, but like again, fusing. Like we took the roots of where we come from with the genuine things that we like, whether that's like music choice, like, I mean, we danced to One Republic's Apologize on ABDC. That could have been a big sellout move on our part, right?
Right.
But legit, like, Fee from the crew loves One Republic, and he choreographed that, and I'm like, yo, that's fire, dude. And then we just like, all right, let's put our Jabberwocky thing to it. And then, you know, we put like our foundational movement from hip-hop, street dance styles into a song that is not hip-hop, and then we made our own thing, and that's what it's like, yo, that's like Jabba style. And so we made our own third culture,
That's
right?
the Medici
Yeah.
effect right
Right.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like both you guys are. I mean, but go. Yeah.
So with that, you know, and then now we're like, oh man, we got a Las Vegas show. Bro, go check out the Las Vegas show and tell me that that's like not legit. Like that is legit, but that it's the Jabba style. Like we created
Yeah.
our own lane, and you know, shout out to the homies that are still out there, just holding it down, killing it. But like, you know, nobody can look at that and be like, oh, that's a sellout move. Like, hey, well, we're selling out seats for sure. You know what I mean? We're selling out theaters. Yeah.
10 years now, or 8?
Oh yeah,
It's
like,
wild, dude.
2010, so 14 years now. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
going strong
so
on the
tough.
Las Vegas Strip at the MGM
And check this out.
Casino.
And Michael, you just said that, right? You said like dance is one of those art forms that doesn't get that kind of respect, right? It's like, yo, like you said, you're trying to bring it up, but 14 years in that arena, man, those guys are like the most surviving, you know.
So, I mean, like with that though too, because once I saw that, I'm like, that was an unlock for me too. I'm like, wait, this can be applied to so many other things in life. And I think that's when you know you're a winner, when you can take a concept from one thing, like, how do I apply this to everything else? And then it's like, now you see through the matrix now, you know what I'm saying? You're Neo. You're like, yo, I see how all this stuff works, you know. But it's, if you don't take that risk, then there is no reward, right?
Yeah.
But it's being smart to take calculated risks and then also doing your homework and then gathering the right team of people, because it's a lot harder to do it by yourself. But if you build the team, and not everybody wears the same hats, that's why you build a team. Like, you do that well, you do that well, you do that well, I do this, cool, let's go together. And then you become like unstoppable at that.
You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together.
Exactly.
Go with many. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Feel you. Hey, curious. So, we on the Lift Lab too. I see you got the water bottle right there, Michael. What's going on? So, how is the fit? Like, do you like, obviously you dance, so there's the movement, and I've been there's a lot of research been coming out too, like with longevity, it's just to move.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people are sedentary and stuff. So Ben, I know you take your health pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys like have like a
Fitness
regimen?
regime? Yeah, fitness program.
I'm addicted to fitness now. Like, I've mainly because like I got really serious back in 2021 because I had this like boxing match, so I trained like really hard with my body like a month and a half, best shape of my life. Then life hit me, let go of myself, and then I'd say like last year I was like I hate looking like this. Like, I just didn't feel confident, good about myself. So I started slowly getting into like working out again. And then more like specifically, like literally like this month, before this month I was doing like working out like 2-3 times a week. Now I'm doing 5 days a week. I'm taking it very seriously because like I want my lifestyle to overall be healthier, mainly because I see like there's this guy, I think his name's Billy, but he's this Asian that lives in he's like 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know how old he is, but he's shredded. Dude's just ripped, and he lives in Hawaii. And
I think I knew you.
And he does kettlebell stuff.
Yeah.
Shredded dude.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like I want to be like that when I'm old. Like, I don't want to, like lose my like mobility and like life inside of me. So I knew that it wasn't something that would be like, all right, I'll get there eventually. Like, I need to start now, have this routine down. So it's like, this is my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
what's your routine like? So how much would you give a week, like per day, to your fitness?
So I started this 5-day week like literally last week. So the biggest challenge for me right now is like making sure I'm consistent because I'm gonna be traveling. I started a YouTube vlog, like weekly vlog, so I could like make sure I'm accountable for myself too.
Nice.
So I have people on me. But I have 2 trainers. One is for calisthenics and one's for kettlebell. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday I do calisthenics, and I'm working just because I love the skills, learning all that stuff. So I'm working on like muscle ups and just getting a stronger core, everything. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays I do the kettlebell stuff. So I work with this guy, and he's just shredded. I'm just like, this is wild. Like, getting it from kettlebells, like I never expected
kettlebells to be able to deliver.
Yeah, but it's
training,
insane,
dude.
like because it's mobility,
And
it's strength.
It's functional.
It's
fitness.
functional,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just like you just look good. You actually can perform.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, that's really dope. It's very quick, but it's very high intensity. The first workout I did last week was like, it was like way different than I expected. It was way harder than I expected. And I was like, this is good though. Like, I felt good. And after the second, now the third time, I was like,
recovery's good. You get like do you get like what do you get sore? Like the first week you sore?
So there's a couple. Okay, so I do a lot of different. So diet wise, I mean, so I try to drink like three
bottles,
22-ounce bottles
like
a day.
A gallon a day or something.
Yeah, so I do that. I do a couple of different supplements. Like, I have like D3 and then like fish oil and then creatine gummies. So I have those.
Yeah.
And then
Do you drink caffeine or do you use pre-workouts?
no,
Yeah.
I don't do any of those.
Good.
I it's too much for me, I think.
Yeah.
Like, my body just gets
You don't need
affected
it?
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started using these patches as well. They're called LifeWave patches.
What do they do?
It's light therapy stem cell.
What?
So it's essentially, it's a new thing I've been researching. So this company came out a while ago, but they
What is it,
just
like a
started.
patch you wear on your shoulder?
Yeah, so like you put it on your pressure points, like acupuncture points.
Yeah.
So I have like one here,
Yep.
and essentially what it does is it blocks everyone
Neuro
emits light.
pathways, like the neuro,
It-
nervous, the work with the nervous system. Oh.
So the best way to explain it is like, okay, when you go outside in the sun, right? The sun doesn't give you vitamin D. It reacts with your body, and your body, because of the sunlight, the UV rays, it produces more vitamin D, right? So in the same way, everyone emits different light energy, right? So essentially the patches will deflect the light coming off your body, and it'll basically activate your stem cells. And what stem cells are, this is a cell that basically heals your body. Like
mimic all other cells.
yeah, it mimics every cell exactly. But it's the biggest factor of it like not working is because of stress. And a lot of obviously stress, social media nowadays, like it's really bad for people. So I've been researching
That's
for
why
about
those
like
stressful people are all dark.
yeah, but
They even know like yeah.
but
Facts.
I use the patches daily, and essentially it's kind of just helping me overall. Like I'm a pretty healthy naturally guy, but I've given it to people that
General
aren't.
well-being and just
Yeah, and
feeling
it helps them a
mood
lot, and
feeling
it's
nice.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you guys about it too. But yeah, I would definitely say, and if anyone's listening and wants to check it out, DM me on Instagram, because yeah, there's like this whole thing that I'm starting my own brand with it, because
Yes,
there's
oh,
like
yeah.
a business side of it and all, but
Yeah.
it's
Smart,
dope,
I haven't
but
even
it's
heard of
it's
it.
something
Yeah.
that yeah, it's something that's helping a lot of people, and like it heals a lot of people in terms of like there's like
Really?
even people with like dementia with or like
Wow.
what's it called when it's like
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's
Yeah.
that like it healed them. It's crazy because it's like using your own bodies.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so there's, I mean, technology is getting crazy. The information is boundless. So like I'm using that as well on top of everything else.
That's good. You're just
And
trying
then-
different things, trying
Yeah.
different things, and that's I think that's the beauty of life, isn't it? You try different things and you see what sticks, you see
Yeah.
what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and just keep applying,
Mm-hmm.
and you discard the stuff that doesn't work. And same with advice. People give you advice and help you, and it's up to you whether you want to take that advice or not.
Right.
Yeah,
But whether it's
absolutely.
going to help you, So it's a beautiful thing. You can just decide and see what works out. Just keep trying different things.
Yeah, because I want like I think a lot of people, it gets bad when people are like very like 0 to 100, and then it's like I don't want to be the person that's like, oh yeah, I was like trying this for like a month, like people that go vegan and then they're like, yeah, I've done it for like a couple months and then I fell off. Like I want to have something that's like genuinely like, okay, I can enjoy this. My relationship with food or with like all that stuff is like healthy, so I can actually stick to it. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You know what's crazy? I'm thinking like, oh man, you're so young and you're like, you got so much wisdom and like you're doing this and that. But like, and I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back, because when I started taking my health and stuff, my fitness seriously, it was right around like my early 20s. Because I'm 42 now, so like, I just maintained it. Like, to get in shape, like 0 to 100 is hard, right? Because you're just like you're dealing with a lot more against you, because you've compounded so much of like unhealthy living. To get out of that is hard, but to stay in shape is easy. You just stay consistent. You just keep doing the thing that you've been doing.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah, like I'm the same thing, like from my water intake to like, I cranked up to 6 days a week working out now. And so like, it feels good, and I literally Sunday I do nothing. I just, I'll even enjoy the food that I want to eat, whatever. I Sabbath on my Sundays, but like, like having those healthy habits, and that's how, like, homie that's in Hawaii and shredded, I'm sure he's been doing it since he was like 20 something too.
Yeah.
I think his name's Bill Maeda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Bill. We'll tag you on this one. But yeah, no, he jacked, dude.
No, that's crazy.
Because I live in Hawaii and I seen him. I'm like, it gets hot too outside, and this guy's outside. But anyways,
But he's probably been doing that.
Yes.
Like he's just it's consistency, and then it's just like the compound effect of consistency is like you just remain healthy.
Yeah.
And so I'm the same way, and I think just the way that you were, and I want to try this kettlebell thing, because like functional fitness, I mean, like, to even go a little bit deep on this, it's like you don't need to necessarily, like, I mean, to be a bodybuilder, that's for some people, right? But like for a dancer, if I'm trying to dance, I can't be big like you, bro. I just tell you right now. But like,
hey, white girls, they had that guy like that.
Oh, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
Yeah. Shout out Terry Crews. But like knowing what you want to be fit for is important.
That's the key right there.
Because then now
That's
it's
the
like,
key right
again,
there.
you're feeding into the thing that you wanted to like excel and continue to prolong, right? So like, yeah, for me too, like, I'm not trying to bulk up, but I want to do things that make me feel physically good and help me do the thing that I want to be good for, like to even enhance that. So like knowing what you're doing it for.
That's what fitness, I think the description is, it's basically like when you describe fitness, it's being able to do whatever you need to do to get, like, being physically conditioned to get you through your day, whatever it is you need to do. So obviously if you're a bodybuilder, then you're going to be, you know, to your level of fitness is going to be looking a certain way. If you're a firefighter, it's a different fitness. If you're a dancer, it's a different fitness. You know, so everyone's definition of fitness is going to be different. And it's going to be unique to that individual.
That's right.
That's good. So that's the thing. I think, and sometimes we get a little bit confused. We're like, oh, you know, he looks fit as, but yeah, that's probably for his, you know, for his purpose, whatever. But what you do is completely different. You don't need to look off, you know, feel, you know, do what they have to do. So
yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah. We all kind of get looked at. We're like, oh, we compare ourselves and all that sort of stuff. But you got to remember, like, well, what are you trying to? What's your? You got to stay on your, you know, on your road.
Right. So like on the fitness side, I think definitely being in shape and being physically fit helps with your energy, your overall energy. I do notice that
100%. I think everyone should just at least be active, at least an hour a day. Like 100%. Everyone, doesn't matter what you're doing, but at least just getting the blood moving. I think it's just so crucial.
Absolutely.
Just in mental space, not only physical. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
I was wondering though, on a mental side, right? So at Lift Lab, we talk about lifting people up physically, mentally, spiritually, right? Like however that looks like for the individuals, but as far as you, right, man, dude, 51, you know, there's a saying, more money, more problems. I say more people, more problems. Like, you know what I mean? Because more people you have in your life, it gets kind of noisy, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of curious, what do you do, man? Like, as far as, like, your mental health and, you know, the current state of, like, social media, right? Like, dude, there was just this TikTok documentary that came out, like, Dancing with the Devil. It was crazy with TikTokers. I mean, you know, there's all these people that are trying so hard on social media to grow their following and engage and to get the highs, ups, and then there's the downs, and there's business deals, and there's failures. I mean, what have you? I mean, both of you guys. What do you guys do to kind of like keep your minds right too? You know what I mean?
Mine's pretty simple. I mean, I just stay so busy, I don't pay attention to it. I mean, I also like my circle is like less than 5. Like, I literally don't. Like, if I don't work with you, I don't really talk to you. Just, I mean, like, not in a bad way. It's just, like, I'm just kind of so focused on, like, you know, there's so many parts of my life that, like, I need to work on myself that, like, I deem, like, if I don't have these things down, like, well-being, family, relationship, money, fitness, all that stuff.
You can only
like,
give yourself to so many people before your cup is.
Yeah,
and you don't want to be giving to people that are taking and not helping fill yours up.
That's good one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm very much just like focus on your own. I think a lot of people, they stress out only because they compare themselves. Their day one to someone's like day 1,000, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, because social media compares so, like, it makes you just, because like you look at it, it's like, if someone has this many views or this many thing or whatever it is, you instantly compare yourself to that. And I think that instant gratification is like a really toxic thing.
Right.
That it is hard to get out of, because like, you know, everyone goes through it, you know, one day or another. So I think
So what do you do in your downtime when you do have downtime? How do you disconnect? How do you like? What's your way of like where you can just like reset the buttons and just get?
I mean, if I'm off social media, working out honestly is like
working out. That's
it makes you.
That's what you were just.
It makes you drain out all like the blue light, or like, you know how you have like a migraine if you like stay on TikTok for hours. I don't know for me, but like I don't do it often, but when I do those random times, like I feel shitty. Like I'm sorry for cursing, but like, you know, like I need to go take a walk, have sun hit me, like just that side of things de-stresses me. I listen to lo-fi a lot. I watch anime.
It consumes you. The app consumes you.
Yeah.
And you gotta counteract that. You gotta get back out into the real
normally
world.
we would think of it as we're consuming it, but no, it's consuming you.
It's consuming all your attention, all your energy, all your focus. Everything's just putting it into this app.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, and you perfect it and you master it. Well, how do you like? Okay, well, hang on. Let's say you take the phone away.
The best thing I say, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because I realize like I don't live like normal people, I guess. I block schedule my life out. So like, I'll make sure, like, I schedule my whole week out before it even starts, like from hour to hour, from waking up to when I eat to all that stuff. And it helps me a lot. So like, if people like, I feel like if you don't, because I personally, I feel like I have ADHD. Like, I'm very much like, if someone tells me something and then someone else does it, like, I only focus on one thing and I forget about everything else. So I write down everything so I don't forget it. So I have like a to-do list. I use Notion. I have a Notion calendar, all of that stuff. So I make sure I'm very organized. But it allows me to not lose focus on what I have to do. So I can't like
overindulge in one thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very much like I just keep a schedule and stick to it, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, I feel like people, they go either a reactive state or a proactive state, and a lot of people are just reacting to things, and
Absolutely.
it gets taxing. But if you can get to a proactive state, and from what I'm hearing from you, the proactive state is just getting that focus and blocking things out.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you could do that, everything else kind of filters out. You don't have to react to a lot of things because you're like, nah, like actually the podcast I was on with you is like you set your sail, you look far. You don't have time to do everything. Like your yes is so strong that everything else is no.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a strong yes, then it's like kind of, and then you're just like you're like a ship with no sail. You're just kind of floating around.
Got a quick question. Do you ever just watch TV? Well, and when I say TV,
I would say Sundays are my only day where I
watch anime?
All the time.
Okay, that was
What's on your list?
What
Oh, a lot. Actually, I just started one. I think it's a little older, but it's a Gurren Lagann. I just started.
Demon Slayer.
I mean, I've watched all
Piece?
like the mainstream ones.
Naruto?
I've watched every single
Hey,
one.
you see this
I
one,
grew up with Naruto.
Hey,
So
you see
Naruto,
Ray, you got-
reading
you got-
Boruto.
Yeah,
Yeah. Demon Slayer. Yeah.
Demon Slayer. Watch
Yeah. All of them, dude.
AOT. Attack on Titan.
Yeah, all of
Seen it
them.
all. Damn.
I'm
So
a manga reader too. So,
to see this guy
okay.
lit off of it.
All right.
Yeah.
One Piece. I didn't start One Piece until last year.
Yeah,
I
that's a
caught
lot.
up via the manga. I read 1,000
You caught up on the manga?
chapters.
Yeah,
Oh
same
my
thing.
God.
1,000 chapters in 1 month just so I can catch up to the Kaido fight.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
need to get on
So
one.
now I'm
Big
just
respect.
now I'm watching it because
Yeah.
the pacing for One Piece, obviously when people know, it's bad.
It's
But
terrible.
I love One Piece now. It's
Yeah.
great. So yeah, I'm a very avid, like that's all I do.
Yeah.
I love isekais. Those
Yeah.
are like my crappy show. I just eat that
Have you
up.
seen that new one on what's it called? Hell's Paradise or Tokyo
Yeah.
Revengers?
Yeah.
See,
Attack on yeah.
doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
This kid.
The power the Power Ranger.
I'm more impressed with this than everything else. Who cares about 51 million? You finished
Okay, all
One
right.
Piece in 1 month?
I'm gonna throw some out and see if you know them. Have you watched Food Wars?
Food Wars.
You
I've
gotta
watched
watch
one
that
episode
one.
of
Oh,
it.
you
Yeah.
okay? Food Wars is funny. I
Yeah.
love that one. It's a little. It's
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crunchyroll. I've got a lifetime membership.
Okay.
To Crunchyroll.
Nice.
Hey, Crunchyroll sponsor Lift Lab right here. Here we go.
Solo leveling.
I just started actually.
Love,
literally
dude.
last night.
I started episode 1.
Yeah.
So when episode 1 came out, I couldn't wait, so I finished the manga
As well.
in 1 day.
Yeah.
It was or not manga. It's manhwa, I guess. But
I think it's fascinating. Obviously, you get a good plot, but it's just like the culture, the morals, all of it. There's so much juice.
it
in
shapes
it, you know?
you as a person. People that watch anime, bro. That's like they're the people that.
They're good.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
got it
alright.
good, bro.
They're good
Naruto.
people.
Every time he sat on that bench, I was like, oh god,
Oh god.
that's
Yeah,
me.
just
I
hustling.
feel it. You know.
Yeah.
Philosophy, man. There's
Yeah, bro.
philosophy.
I'm not
in
crying, you
anime.
are.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was crazy. I'm
Yeah,
on
so
board
you just went
now.
from here to like.
Yeah.
You might. You just equipped everyone else. Yeah.
But Cal's a big anime
Yeah,
fan.
I
Like
love
we
that.
love
That's tight.
doing
Oh, I
anime
love that.
stuff. Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of the things that we've been playing with is like fitness and
If I'm
anime.
not at the gym, I'm napping or watching anime. It's
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Well, Michael, you guys should get like a workout in and maybe like we could do an
That'd
anime
be something
party.
different. Yeah,
It'd be fun.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Honestly, I think it's amazing to hear your story and everything you've achieved at such a young age.
Thank you.
I just want to wish you all the best, all the power to you both. I think it's great that you guys are connected. You got a great mentor right here. So, and I think that's crucial. I think it's really important. Like you said, having physical contact with mentors, like not just having a book or having someone you can actually face-to-face interaction and speak with. But man, it's been great hearing you guys' stories. Really cool.
Thanks,
Very
man.
very inspiring too. You know.
No, for sure. It's all around. I feel like there's fire in this room right now. I just feel it.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Michael and Ben. Like it's been fun having you on the Lift Lab. Got to talk about TikTok, having your own country. I love it, anime, the fitness stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'll have to subscribe and looking forward to seeing your new projects and everything. I think it's gonna be
Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna be crushing it in the next and you're gonna set the pace for the next generation, which is even more exciting.
I'm excited.
You know?
Yeah, I'm praying for it.
So let's get it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, thanks guys for joining us. Thanks everyone for tuning in today on the Lift Lab, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.